Alright guys, so today is part 2 of our geography vocabulary. So in your binder paper or your Google Doc, I need you to title it Geography Vocabulary Part 2, and then make sure you share it with me or send a picture of it to me. Today we have 2 words, okay, 2 very important words that are going to help us with labeling a map, and then with the activities we're watching or doing and completing after we watch the vocabulary, okay? So your first word is continent, and a continent is one of 7 large areas of land. Okay, so Earth is composed of 7 different continents, and that makes up the entire globe, right? We live on one of them. Some are really large, some are like medium, and some we have like a small one too. So we're going to talk about those. Next, we're going to talk about countries which are on continents. And I think that's where people get mixed up, because countries can be large also. Some countries can even be as big as a continent, but they're very different. So let's talk about it. So first, let's figure out what a country is. A country is an area of land that has its own government. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little picture of what this looks like. Okay, so we have a bunch of countries, right, but only 7 continents, and all of these countries in the world fill up these 7 continents except for one. So let's draw a little picture. So here's the Earth, right? Here's the Earth. We'll label it. If you're drawing, you can draw this picture too. You don't have to. And if you're on a Google Doc, if you can figure out how to label this also, you can, but you don't have to. Okay. So there's Earth. Let's draw our continent. Which is this, right? It kind of goes up a little bit, and then we have sun that goes down. It's not the best picture, but let's say this is North America. Okay, so everything in purple is our continent called North America. Now we live in a country. We live in the United States, which happens to be on this continent. So this whole middle spot right here is the United States. Okay, that's us. We live in a big country on an even larger continent. Now, our main goal is to know the difference between a continent and a country by the end of today, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use these 2 vocabulary words to help us figure out the difference, and we're going to use these 2 vocabulary words to help us label a map. So after you get all this copied down, I need you to open up the map that's on Google Classroom. It should open up in Cami, and we're going to label that map together. Okay, it'll be right after this. We're going to label that map together. We're going to label all 7 continents that make up the Earth. And then after that, we're going to use our map and our vocabulary words to help us with the vocabulary activities that we have planned. All right, here we go. All right, guys, so we have 2 vocabulary words, countries and continents, that we just went over. So now we're going to label our continents, and so you guys can see the difference. So on this map here, these large pieces of land are known as continents. Our job now is to label them, and I'm going to help you label them. So there's 7 of them, so we're going to start with the first one. You can either use a text box or you can actually write it in if you want. I'm going to use a text box though. Okay, so the first one being Africa. You can number it if you want. You don't have to, but I'm going to number them so it's there for you. So number 1 is Africa. Number 2 that we're going to label is right above Africa. And number 2 is Europe. So we're just going to label these real quick, and then we'll talk about it. So the first one we have is Africa. The second one is Europe. The third one is in the bottom right. Number 3 is Australia. It's okay if it doesn't fit, right? It's pretty small, and our font's usually pretty large. If you can make it fit, that's fine, but I want it to where you're able to see it too. Okay, so far we have Africa, we have Europe, we have Australia. The fourth one is going to be above Australia, which is Asia. And a little fun fact is that some people combine Europe and Asia as one continent, and they call it Eurasia. So they combine Europe and Asia, and they call it Eurasia. But they are 2 separate continents. So now we have 4. Okay, the fifth one is to the left. So the fifth one is South America. And then right above it is where we live, which is North America. And last but not least is the continent at the very bottom, which is Antarctica. So there's number 7. So now we have all 7 that are listed. Okay, so now that we have all 7 listed, we're going to add a few things. We're going to be using this map throughout the week because tomorrow, or when do I see you? The next time I see you, tomorrow's Wednesday, but I don't teach anything on Wednesday. When I see you for class, we're going to add to this map, and we're going to add the oceans. So don't add them yet. If you actually know them and you're 100% sure, you can. But I would not turn it in until after we go over it to make sure that you're sure. Okay? But I do want to add something. I want to kind of split this up into sections. So we have the continents first. The next thing I want to add is our compass rose. So either with your drawing tool, or I don't really know if you can do it with your text tool, but we're going to add the compass rose in the bottom left. Okay, so I'm going to write N for north. And then there's south. There's east and west. Let me redo my E there. It's a little messy. Okay. And then, okay. So now we have our compass rose. So we know which direction everything is, okay? Next thing that we're going to do, after you have this labeled, I want you to stop the video, and then you're going to go work on the vocabulary that this corresponds with. But you needed to know what a continent was and what a country was to know the difference, because these are not countries, these are continents. And you'll learn a little trick about one of these continents later on. Okay? And then if I went too fast, you can rewind and fill it out. I also would like you to color these if possible, or highlight them a color so you know the difference and how they're separated. Okay? Because they're all, even though like some of them look connected, you have to know where they each end. So I'm going to highlight in different colors so you can see how they're separated. Okay, so on mine, you can only see, or I only have 5 colors. So I'm going to do my best here for you. Okay, so remember, this picture is of the world flat. So first, I'm going to start with North America because it is our largest one. So I'm going to take yellow, and I want you guys to try to color in the best you can. And I'm just going to try to kind of get these little spots in. Oops, that's the ocean. Try to get these little spots in the best I can. Oh, I do have more than, just kidding, I have more than 5 colors. Okay, so this is all North America, and down here is North America. And these little islands here in the ocean are North America. And if you go all the way to the far right, this is also North America. So remember, this picture is the world flat. So if we were to fold it and make it round, the things on the right-hand side would be where the left-hand side is. Okay? So that is all North America. And then I think that's it for North America. Now I'm going to change colors. We'll go green. And I'm going to make South America green. And you can choose any colors you want, but this is just to kind of help you separate it a little bit. Okay. Okay, next we'll do red, and we'll do, let's do Africa in red. Oops, I probably shouldn't trace over the name, huh? Sorry. We'll do Africa in red. And this little piece right here is a part of Africa. Okay, and then the next one, we'll do blue. And we'll make Australia blue. Okay, so the best you can. That little piece right there is also part of Australia. Okay, next we will go with, let's do purple. For Asia, Asia is a very large continent. So we're going to get all of this. I'm going to kind of outline it first for myself. So this is all of Asia. Okay, so that big old section. And then all of these tiny ones, like down here in the water. This is all part of Asia, right? All these little islands here that you see in the oceans are all part of Asia. So make sure you get those. And make sure you're not getting the actual ocean, like this little space in between Europe, Asia, and Africa. That is actually the ocean. Okay, next one. Let's do Europe in, let's go, I guess. We'll have to go with orange. Okay, so Europe is these remaining ones up here, these little guys. And then this whole section. And then this little part is part of Europe. Okay. And then last but not least, we have Antarctica. So let's do it in, we'll do like the light gray. This whole section. Oops. This whole section is Antarctica. Okay, so we're going to make sure we get it. I want yours to look a lot neater than mine. Mine's a little more difficult because I'm on an iPad at the moment. Okay, so yours should be nice and colored. All different colors, so you know the difference between all of the continents. Okay, and then next you'll watch the vocabulary and do those assignments with it. And then you have this video as like a backup. So if you forget what the continents are, you have this and you have your map. Save your map. Do not, like delete it or anything like that, because we're going to add to it each day. So share what you have after you're done, so I know you did today's part of today's work, and then you're good to go. All right, guys, so next is the vocabulary.